Welcome to the Invested Dads Podcast, simplifying financial topics so that you can take action and make your financial situation better. Helping you to understand the current world of financial planning and investments, here are your hosts, Josh Robb and Austin Wilson.
All right. Hey. Welcome back to the Invested Dads Podcast, a podcast where we take you on a journey to better your financial future. Or I guess today, maybe we won't better your financial future. We're going to give you some
way to do it.
Entertainment and maybe a nugget here and there. So yeah, a little different discussion today. Josh and I are just going to be just checking in what has been going on with our families, what is going to be going on with our families. And yeah, we've got some interesting thoughts to share with you. So yeah, it's 2022 now. So that's interesting.
That's a big change.
That's one more than last year.
Number.
Yeah, I know. Those numbers get bigger every single year. Remember the not 2000s?
Yeah, I remember the not 2000s very clearly.
You have to explain that to your kid. Remember when you had to
I was alive in the 1900s?
You're the 1900s.
I was.
I know. So Josh, what has been going on with you? You've got 4 kids and a wife and a dog.
Yeah.
So what's been going on, man?
Yeah, we are.
I mean, I know what's been going on.
But tell everybody.
Tell everyone else.
Yeah. We've been enjoying the winter so far. Christmas break, having some time off is always nice. My youngest birthday is during the Christmas season, so having fun there.
Disney on Ice?
We did go to a Disney on Ice show, which was pretty cool.
You'd like to say it was for Marley, but it's really for you.
I enjoy it. I'm not shy about that. It was impressive. But just enjoying the time off, and then this year we're gonna have a teenager in the house.
That
my oldest
blows
turns 13.
my mind.
Yes. So that's the big highlight of the year, I think, is the transition to teenagehood, which is going to be all sorts of interesting.
Teenager hormones. Guys or girls, they all get them.
It doesn't matter. Yeah,
it's an interesting journey.
Angst that goes on in the house for sure. But we're excited about that and that transition period.
A little nervous.
Yeah. But in general, though, just very appreciative of being able to kind of back towards the spending the holidays with family. So that's always a nice aspect. What about you?
Yeah, so, I mean, no teenager, fortunately.
No.
I mean, that's a long way away for us.
Yes.
But yeah, our little girl turned 4 in August, which is crazy.
Man.
So she is super fun. She's doing new fun things all the time. She's in preschool, which is great for Jenna. 4 days a week.
That's
she
so
goes
nice.
for hours.
Yep.
And so Jenna gets a break 4 days a week. And
that is nice.
It's great. So
And now
Juliana gets socialized.
She performed in a Christmas show.
She did have a Christmas show, and she, in that, would really enjoy the other kids singing. So she clapped for them. That was kind of how it, and she would look really cute in her Christmas dress.
That's all that
But
is.
yeah, she's got one of the exciting things in 2021 for her is that we got her a fancy walker. So she has special needs, and so we're working with her to, get her walking and mobile and doing all these things. Well, we got her, it's called a Mustang. So she's got a Mustang.
She drives a Mustang.
Dad doesn't have a Mustang.
She drives a Mustang.
But Juliana has a Mustang, and it's yellow
Yeah.
and racy and fast. And her classmate actually has the exact same
Oh,
one.
man.
So they're like Mustanging.
there,
They're
yeah.
Mustanging around the preschool. But she's doing great. I put her hair in pigtails recently. That's also noteworthy.
Yes.
And it was my idea.
Did
And
that
I'm not
work
as
out?
gentle with her hair as
She
Jenna.
Didn't like it.
She did good. She left them in. It was great. It was really, really stinking cute. So that was kind of, Juliana's obviously our pretty big highlight. My wife and I, Jenna, also just celebrated 6 years for our anniversary, which you remember
That's
well.
impressive. I do.
So that actually is the origin story of Austin working at Hicks and Zerker and Josh
We
and
celebrate
Austin.
our anniversary.
It's
the
Josh
same
and
day.
Austin's anniversary the same day because Josh was the second shooter for Steph's photography business on that day at our wedding.
Yeah.
So, we go way back, and I was looking at pictures back then, and you didn't catch any of me falling on the ground, but there were a lot that you caught of me looking like a child. I was so
no
young.
facial hair.
I had a little, but it
guess
was
a little
so
stubble.
young
Yeah.
and skinny.
Yeah. 6 years, changes a lot.
So young and skinny. So that's kind of what's been going on. Same with you, though. We're coming out of some good relaxing family time around Christmas and stuff like that, and was in the band at church for Christmas playing the guitar.
Yep.
So things are going pretty well. It's cold.
Yes. Anything you're looking forward to, though, this year? 2022.
A lot. Mostly, hopefully going to take some good trips. We don't really have an official vacation planned, but my dad and my cousin and my uncle and I always go on a motorcycle trip, which we're planning again.
Now, I got to clarify real quick. It's a food trip while riding motorcycles.
Yeah.
'Cause anytime you come back, and I don't even know if I've seen a motorcycle in any of your
Pictures are all food.
It's like, here's what I ate the first day, then we went here and ate this, and so you do a food trip.
Exactly.
And apparently you all happen to take motorcycles to these food places.
we do like to eat a lot. We have been the last few years going south, and we've been going into the North Carolina, Tennessee, that kind of area. We were into Georgia and Alabama even a little this year. We decided it doesn't really make a lot of sense to go south in the summer.
It's hot down there.
It gets hotter than it is here.
And your air conditioning on your motorcycle
is non-existent.
No, yeah.
You got to go faster to get cooler, and that's just not good.
Yeah.
So we have decided that we're going to try going north.
Ooh.
So we are going to go up through Michigan and through the UP and Wisconsin and Minnesota, all the way up to the Canada border.
Pretty up there.
That's
so
our
you'll
plan.
have some nice,
Yep, and then
nice
back
scenery.
down, all the way down, essentially to Milwaukee, which is on the west side of Lake Michigan.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Michigan.
Yeah, right.
Well, the interesting thing is, to avoid going through Chicago, they actually we're taking a ferry, like a jet ferry thing, across Lake Michigan to Michigan from Wisconsin. So
That'll
on
be fun.
motorcycles.
Yeah.
We're super excited. We're going to be doing that. So that's what's going on this year. Not really a whole lot of other big plans, just, living the dream. Hopefully going to work on our house a little bit and do little things like that. What about you?
Always projects, right?
Always.
Every couple of years, we go with Steph's side of the family to a vacation spot where they've gone for many, many years, probably actually a couple decades, with
Australia?
her grandparents. No, not that far. Okay. We can drive there. But just over to the East Coast, down Edisto Island is what it's called.
South Carolina, right?
Yep. And so a lot of fun, but that's something I'm looking forward to. The kids love it. You get a little place there, go to the beach, swim in a pool, hang out. It's nice and relaxing, good time. But I believe that's up for this year on the docket. So,
and you can take your new car instead of...
We can drive our new car, which will be interesting because there's not as much storage in there.
van.
We'll see what happens. But
I think
we're excited about it.
Styling and comfortable.
We just drove last month. We went down to Nashville, Tennessee. We took the two boys to a football game. And so we did that on a trip. And I'll tell you, that car, it's not a self-driving car, but it has lane assist.
Yeah.
And on a 7.5 hour drive or whatever it was,
use it a little.
it was nice to just kind of stays you in the lane. You got to keep your hands on the wheel, or else it gets mad at you. But you just kind of can let it just keep you where you need to go. And that has this like adaptive cruise control, which I love and hate, because it's great because it's cool and it doesn't let you run into anybody.
Well, yeah.
But if you're not paying attention, if you get behind a truck, it slows you down very nice and smoothly. So you don't even realize it. All of a sudden you look down and you're
54 miles an hour.
Why might I have been driving for the last hour at 50 miles an hour in a 70 mile per hour
Now,
lane?
I wonder, does that... So if you were in the fast lane, so say you're in the fast lane going 79. I'm not condoning this. I'm saying, say you're going 79 in the fast lane.
the speed limit 79, yeah.
And the speed limit's 80. So you're going one under. Right,
sense,
of course. What if the cars in front of you speed up and go like 84? Does it? It does not.
So,
you can set thresholds.
At least my adaptive cruise control, I set my cruise limit, and it will be at that unless it gets within a certain amount of car lengths from the car in front of it. Then it will slow down.
Gotcha.
And so as long as there's no one, and I have like mine set to 3 car lengths, I think. So as long as there's no car between me and 3 car lengths, it just drives its normal speed like I set it at. So, if I set it at 79 on the 80 mile per hour road,
naturally,
then I'm going. Yeah. But then if I catch up to a car, then it will slow down if a car enters into that 3 gap length.
Gotcha.
Now, what I realized in this long trip, because you're just cruising along, is a car comes over into your lane inside that window. And it appears, at least my car, is smart enough to understand if the car is lengthening it, it doesn't abruptly like brake on you.
Right.
But if it cuts in front of you and it's not really going anywhere, the car will slow down to get that gapping.
Yeah.
And so it's not the smoothest.
Yeah.
And actually where I saw the most was, I get behind a car and slow down a little bit. Then I get over in the left-hand lane to pass. It accelerates pretty quickly, and I would rather have a smooth, like get me back up to speed, and it's kind of like, I got to get there. So
there's a learning curve to technology.
I think so. And there is a setting on my car I could put where it learns how I drive, and it adapts the gear ratios to optimize how I drive. So if I'm a lead foot, if I'm a lead foot off the gas, but I tend to do better economically on like highways, it'll adapt those for that, which is interesting.
It is interesting.
And I don't know if it does it per driver setting, because I'm sure my wife and I have different approaches to driving, that it would probably get really confused if it doesn't know there's two different people driving.
Right.
Like, he just is bipolar. Sometimes he gets in here and just crazy. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I do enjoy that technology, and I can definitely see more and more how we've talked about this in our electric vehicle episode.
We'll link that in the
whether
show
we would
notes.
be comfortable
Right.
in those. And the more, like on that long trip, if there was something that was just going to drive around for me, a highway would be where I think currently now I would be comfortable with my hands off a steering wheel driving on a highway.
Yeah.
Now, I wouldn't be reading a book or anything, but I would be at least
relax a
comfortable
little bit.
to just not hold on tight. So that's where I'm at.
The further time goes from that episode was like a year and a half ago. Like,
It was a while ago. It was pretty early on.
it was. And the further we get from that, the more technologically advanced self-driving it gets and all of that. I think I'm okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
I admit that most drivers, I probably have a really low view of drivers in general.
I want everybody else to be electric driving too.
exactly.
That way they can drive safely.
Right. I think that the software isn't perfect and it will never be perfect, but it doesn't take much to be better than most drivers. Most drivers are
The
truly
distracted
terrible.
driving is
Truly
that's
terrible.
big. Yeah.
I saw someone yesterday sitting in their car on the side of the road with no hazards on, no nothing, just chilling on their phone. No lights, no nothing.
Just there.
I'm like, that
At
is
least they pulled
dangerous.
over. At least they pulled over.
I know, but I see people on their phones all the
that's
time.
crazy.
And like, I try and at least like talk to text or if you have to do something or whatever, try and keep your hands free or whatever. But I have a very low view of drivers.
Even my Jeep, because I upgraded my radio, has Bluetooth now.
Well, of course.
So it's like you really shouldn't be
There's
on
really
your,
no
like
excuse.
hands on your phone, because I can get a text read to me now.
Yeah.
I can hit reply or just say reply, and so yeah, you're right. There's distracted driving is crazy.
So Josh, do you have
Yes,
a dad joke?
I do
the
have a
week
dad joke.
to crack my stuff up on this fine
I
Thursday.
do have a good one. Okay, this is we were talking about knowing each other, but I got hospitalized
You
a couple weeks
did?
ago. Yeah, it was a result of playing peekaboo with my kids.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I was in the ICU. The peekaboo ICU.
That is so funny.
There we go. That's my.
I was watching Cocomelon because that's what I do in
Yeah.
my house. And they were playing peekaboo, and they're not good at hiding. I tell
No.
you what, I would win.
Dominate
I
that.
would dominate that game.
Peekaboo.
Peekaboo. So I had a topic I wanted to talk about
Yes.
today because I'm a foodie, as
Yes.
you had already alluded to.
You like to
earlier.
eat.
I talk about food all the time. I eat all the time,
Yep.
and that's why I'm representing the dad bod pretty heavily. Pizza.
Pizza.
What is your favorite type of pizza, as in crust type and topping type, from where and why?
I would say, when it comes to me, there is a local place here in town, and you didn't get a chance to try it back when it was on, but Rocking You was the name of this
Yeah.
place. I don't think you had it when it was the Rocking You store.
No.
It's a thinner crust pizza, fresh toppings, really good. What the key to that one was, they had like the crust had a seasoning to it, but their cheese combination there it was
Wasn't
like a
straight mozzarella.
well, because I remember one of the things that was unique about it is whenever you eat there, you had yellow and white cheese that you could see on there. So they had some sort of cheese blend going. So that to me is my favorite. It's probably a little bit of nostalgia type of. That was your post baseball party place to go. They had a room in the back. You'd go as a team. You'd sit there. Everybody get their pizza. You'd have as much pop as you could drink. As a kid, that was pretty good. That's probably part of it.
Yeah.
But it was good pizza. Now, topping wise, now there's controversy in one of these, okay?
Oh, it's pineapple.
It is. It's the Hawaiian
Stinking
style.
pineapple.
So my wife does not like ham.
Yeah.
Does not like ham at all. And so it's pineapple and bacon.
Okay.
That's what we get,
Yeah.
which I like. Or pepperoni mushroom. Those are my two go-to
Yep.
pizza toppings.
They're both tied.
Now, I like them both. Not at the same time. That would be a weird combo. But one or the other. I'll eat one or the other. But when I'm ordering, if I was gonna
for yourself.
get one, and I like a veggie pizza, like all the different toppings, or an all meat pizza. So
like opposite ends of
either
the
end.
spectrum.
But I like a pizza with a lot of stuff. Like I'd like a pizza with stuff on it.
Yeah.
I guess is what I'm getting at.
Right.
A good veggie pizza, like with a variety of things, not just like three
Like peppers and
veggies.
onions and mushrooms and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah. And like
Olives.
black olives. I don't like the green olives, but black olives. So something like that would be a good, just like toppings on it. So
So here's the question.
yes.
Rocking You
good.
recipes
Yes.
were purchased.
Yes. There's
And
a
now
grocery
can be
store has
can
it.
be purchased at West Main Crust at Great Scott.
Yep.
In the back. First of all, side note, $7 I think on Sundays you can get a pepperoni.
They're not bad. It's not bad at all.
That's a pretty
for
decent price.
Yeah.
And it's better pizza than Little Caesars.
Yeah.
How does
It's
West Main
close.
Crust compare?
It's close.
Okay.
Now, just like any pizza, like if you order it, pick it up, drive it home, or sit there and eat it, you get the difference.
Oh, yeah.
Because it takes like 15 minutes, before you're actually 15, 20 minutes before you're actually eating it. But for takeout, it's definitely close to what it used to be.
Gotcha.
The first time I had it, I was not impressed. And then I realized that the paper underneath got stuck to my piece that I was eating.
You were
and I was
eating
eating a little bit of
cardboard or
paper.
something?
Yes, so that was not ideal. And then once I removed that, it was a lot better for pizza. But no, it was good. It's definitely the one on occasion we get. And when
Yeah.
we do, I'm not upset about it.
Yeah.
It is good. One
Yeah.
last thing while we're
Oh no, you're good.
strangest, because I'm going to ask you this. Strangest pizza. Years ago. And this would have been, I'm going to say, Godfather's Pizza.
Okay.
Or Papa John's. One of those two. Don't remember. But they had a peanut butter and jelly pizza.
Oh, stop.
Now, it sounds gross, like the grossest thing in the world. But there is no cheese and no marinara sauce on this thing.
Oh, that makes it a little better.
So yeah. So
Yeah.
you're like, okay, first of all, like that's just straight vomit. But okay, so it's just pizza crust,
Yeah.
peanut butter and jelly.
Yep.
Okay. It was ordered for an event. I forget. I was somewhere and it was just as an option. I'm like, well, since I'm not paying for it,
I'll try
I'm
it.
going to try it. It was surprisingly good.
Really? That's so weird.
It's not, again, I've never ordered it since. Having tried it knowing it's good, I've still never ordered it. Because if
Okay.
I'm getting pizza, I'm getting pizza.
Yeah.
I'm not getting like a warm peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Yeah.
But if you have a good dough, it makes a good I mean, think of it that way.
Okay, yeah, if you don't have dough with like savory seasonings like
Yeah, no,
oregano,
just-
if you just have a plain dough, you can dessert it up.
Yeah. Yeah, and
it's
that's really what it
delicious.
was. It reminded me more of like a dessert style pizza. So, but that was probably the strangest pizza
Yeah.
I've ever consumed. And it wasn't bad. It really wasn't.
strange, for
Okay.
sure.
Back to you. Pizza.
Okay, so I'm
So
gonna start.
mine was a thinner crust is where I was at on that.
I'm
by
gonna
the way.
start with strange pizza. Strangest pizza I've ever had. The year was 2000 and probably 2015. This is where you're gonna
Were you
know.
married? 'Cause that's
No,
just
I
when
was
you-
not married at this
Okay,
point.
because you got married in
Late 2015.
yeah.
This was earlier in 2015. I was on my own on a business trip to Mexico
Okay.
when I worked at Cooper. So I was traveling alone and I was hanging out with, there was one gringo at the Cooper plant and then the locals. So he was like my translator buddy and he
Yeah.
was a finance guy. So Phil Beamer with Phil. And after work, we go out to dinner and we go to a nice restaurant, just him and me. And because he lives there, he knows all the stuff. He orders pizza, and he's like, "Austin, you gotta trust me. You gotta try this." I'm like, okay. This dude orders grasshopper pizza
Grasshopper.
in Guadalajara, Mexico, and you know what? I've had grasshoppers a handful of times in my life.
Yeah.
It's
Sometimes
pretty
on
good.
purpose.
Most of the time on purpose. Pretty good.
Yeah. Interesting.
You get them good and crunchy and salty, and I'll eat a bug. So I had grasshopper pizza in Guadalajara, Mexico.
Interesting.
That was the most interesting pizza I have had. And I tell you what, bugs are more normal outside the US than you think
Yeah.
to eat.
to eat.
And they're becoming more normal in terms of food in general. Europe, the EU is passing laws currently to approve bugs, different kinds of bugs for human consumption in, properly prepared and all that stuff because of food inflation.
Oh yeah.
So food inflation is real here, it's real there, and there's just shortages.
Yeah,
and to
scarcity.
overcome some of the shortages, they're bringing
There's a lot of bugs.
alternatives.
Let's see one of
Yeah.
those.
So I think we'll get to the point where we eat more bugs here, and I like bugs. I've had grasshoppers a lot of times. I had them last year in Miami with my wife.
There you go.
Grasshopper taco.
Taco.
So anyway, that was my weird pizza story.
Weird pizza. That is a weird
Preferences.
pizza. Yes.
You know what? I'm like an anti-chain food guy to the core. And if I can eat somewhere local, somewhere family owned and operated, I'm going to, and that's my preference. So I tend to try and avoid things like the Pizza Huts and the Domino's, and they all have their place. They're okay, but I like local. And our favorite pizza probably is Joey Fratello's here
Oh yeah.
in Findlay.
Yes.
Very good pizza.
It is good. Good.
And we probably get it nearly every week. It's pretty good. But they have, my go-to is pepperoni bacon mushroom.
Oh,
Pepperoni bacon mushroom is a really, really good pizza. Now, Will and Jess Hinks, who work here with us here at Hicks and Zerker, they introduced me to the buffalo chicken pizza. So it's like buffalo wing pizza. Ranch sauce, buffalo chicken, and cheese. It's fantastic. So that's like a second. But pepperoni bacon mushroom from Joey Fratello's. I typically like a little bit thinner crust because I like a little bit of crunch. That's kind of how I roll on that. I also like Jack and Doe's.
Yeah, that's a thin.
I like Jack and Doe's. Now, speaking of Jack and Doe's, have you had Tony's Pizza? I've heard good things.
It is very good.
Adam,
I would rank that pretty high.
Adam says it's one of the best pizzas in Findlay.
It's expensive comparatively, but I would rank it up pretty high.
And I heard the thin crust is, Jack and Doe-ish.
It is, yeah. They're very similar. Yep.
Okay.
Now, at Jack and Doe's, you can get a double thin crust.
Really?
Yes.
So to make it like a normal.
No, it's not that thick. It doesn't have the edge to it, but
Really?
it's just a little bit thicker. And that's my preferred way. And I forget.
never had
there's
that.
a way you order it. You see, I don't know, doubled up or I don't remember.
Really?
But my brother introduced me to that a while back.
He was trying to put on weight.
It was when he was a firefighter. I don't know. They know all the secrets, the firefighters. But now that's how we order it all the time.
Wow.
We actually had it a week ago.
Yeah.
Jack and Doe's.
It's good. It's good. So that's pizza. I mean, I love pizza. It's probably, I'm not, I can go out to a fancy dinner here or there. My preference is a normal. I like going out to pizza. I like going out to tacos. We're getting it to go typically is takeout's what we do. I'm just a simple guy who likes pizza and tacos.
It's hard to go wrong with
I am
it,
not. I don't always need a $50 steak for dinner. I like it occasionally.
Yeah.
I really do.
It makes it more special.
It makes it more special. But on a regular basis, I am give me some pizza.
Yep. That's kind of our Friday night type
So
of
Josh,
thing.
if there was one thing
Yes.
that because we got to do some finance.
We gotta do something.
Got to do some finance.
We
So
gotta throw
one piece of financial advice to get people's 2022 started right,
Yes.
what would it be?
So one of the things I want to talk about, and I know we're probably going to do some episodes early in this year where we're talking through some tips and those type of things. But one thing I wanted to highlight is periodically, the IRS, the government, however you want to look at it, they increase contribution limits. And so that's something you always need to be paying attention to. We've talked in the past about saving and trying to make sure you're saving enough for retirement, but they did increase the 401k contribution limits this last year. So for 2022, you can do $20,500 of your own money.
It was 19.5?
19.5. They moved it up $1,000. And then you still got the catch up as well, which I believe is $6,500 still. They haven't changed that. And so that is something just to keep an eye on. The IRA stayed the same. They didn't increase the Roth IRA, traditional IRA. Those are still $6,000 a piece. The HSAs are $7,200.
They were increased by
$100, $7,300 now, something
maybe,
like
or
that.
something.
Yeah, but just pay attention to those numbers, especially if you're trying to hit those maxes. Not every retirement company, like if your 401k, will automatically move it up. You may have to tell them.
Right.
So just keep that in mind as you're starting this year off, that if you're trying to max those out, pay attention to those contribution limits.
And going along with that, my tip is that, hey, hopefully, you're starting this year and maybe you had a performance review or whatnot, and maybe you're going to be making a little bit more money. Maybe you get a nice raise.
Yep.
My advice would be, don't let all of that money flow through your budget.
Yes.
I would say use what we call the 50-50 rule.
Yes.
Very common thing in industry. Maybe it's not half, but some. Take some of that additional. So say you get inflation's really high. It's over 6%. But say you get a 5 or 6% raise, take 2.5 or 3% of that raise and add it to your 401k contributions. So then you're still living on more money than you were before.
Yep.
But you're also contributing more than you were before.
And that
And
saves
you won't
in the
even
long
feel
run.
it.
Yep. And one last bonus tip, because you have time. Roth IRAs, traditional IRAs, you have until April 15th or tax time
For 2021
to
contributions.
make last year's contribution.
Yeah.
So if you haven't maxed them out and you're planning on, it's not too late. You still have until you file your taxes in April to add more contributions to your IRAs for last year, 2021. So bonus tip, there's still time.
Absolutely. Well, that is our kind of update on life and just kind of what's going on with our lives. But we wanted to also give you a little knowledge nugget there to get your year started off right. But as always, check out our free gift to you. It's a brief list of 8 principles of timeless investing. These are overarching investment themes meant to keep you on track to meet your long-term goals. Check it out on our website. Josh, how can people help us to continue to grow this podcast in 2022?
Yeah, make sure you subscribe. That way every Thursday you get our newest podcast released sent right to your listening device, whatever it is.
Yep.
And then leave a review on Apple Podcasts. Always love checking those. They're great to see. It also makes it better for us ranking so that more people can find our podcast.
When we talk about pizza specifically.
In general.
Yeah.
If you have any questions or ideas, if you say, hey, I want to hear this topic in 2022, shoot us an email at hello@theinvesteddads.com. We'd love to talk about whatever you want to know. And then last, if you know somebody who had a question about pizza here in Findlay, Ohio, share this episode with them.
That's right.
We will definitely help them out.
Well, until next Thursday, have a great week.
All right, talk to you later.
Thank you for listening to the Invested Dads podcast. This episode has ended, but your journey towards a better financial future doesn't have to. Head over to theinvesteddads.com to access all the links and resources mentioned in today's show. If you enjoyed this episode and we had a positive impact on your life, leave us a review, click subscribe, and don't miss the next episode. Josh Robb and Austin Wilson work for Hicks & Zerker Capital Management. All opinions expressed by Josh, Austin, or any podcast guests are solely their own opinions and do not reflect the opinions of Hicks & Zerker Capital Management. This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon for investment decisions. Clients of Hicks & Zerker Capital Management may maintain positions in the securities discussed in this podcast. There is no guarantee that the statements, opinions, or forecasts provided herein will prove to be correct. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Indices are not available for direct investment. Any investor who attempts to mimic the performance of an index would incur fees and expenses which would reduce returns. Securities investing involves risk, including the potential for loss of principal. There is no assurance that any investment plan or strategy will be successful.